What's going on, guys? I'm Jaye the Black. Salute to everybody that's tuning in. I got to talk about this Richard Sherman situation, man. This has become a very sad situation for a guy that is as smart and as accomplished as Richard Sherman is. Even though we all make mistakes, this is played out publicly. And for a guy who I'm sure wants to continue his NFL career, this is a very big speed bump. Not only was he arrested and investigated for a domestic dispute, in-laws, now it wasn't directly towards his wife, but he was clearly angry at everyone at his in-laws' house or somebody in that house. They would not let him in. We're going to get into the original story, but we're also going to talk about the update where Richard Sherman was seen on video, a TMZ. But I honestly believe that, Richard Sherman is a guy who, again, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying that what's going on with him, that he deserves this or that. I'm not here to do that. But from just what I've seen about Richard Sherman has always been a guy who was about business, about his career. He's also a part of the Players Union. I honestly really hope that this situation can get resolved. It doesn't affect his marriage. So I want to make that extremely clear before I get into this topic. Let's get into it. This is from the Seattle Times. Former Seattle Seahawks cornerback Richard Sherman was arrested Wednesday morning after crashing his black Mercedes sedan and then trying to force entry into his in-laws' Redmond residence, according to Redmond Police and Washington State Patrol. Sherman, who's 33, of Maple Valley, was booked into the Kings County Jail in Seattle on investigation of a domestic dispute burglary at 6:08 a.m. Jail records show he has been investigated for drunken driving and hit and run after he apparently drove into a construction site on Highway 520, struck a concrete barrier, and left the scene in his badly damaged vehicle. According to the State Patrol, the patrol obtained a warrant for a blood draw and tests to determine his blood alcohol content are pending. Sherman is expected to make his first court appearance on Thursday afternoon, at which time a judge will determine if there is probable cause to believe that Sherman committed a crime. The judge could set bail or order that Sherman be released. Though the Seattle Times typically does not identify suspects before criminal charges are filed, the newspaper is identifying Sherman because he is a public figure. So if you're a public figure, you're going to be put out there. A woman who identified herself as Sherman's wife in a 911 call to the Kings County Sheriff's Office on Tuesday night told dispatcher that Sherman had been drinking and had threatened to take his own life, according to a recording of the call obtained through a public disclosure request. In a subsequent call, she says Sherman may have been going to her parents' house in Redmond and confirmed that she called ahead to tell them. So she wasn't there. She wasn't at her in-laws' house, but she called to, I just want to get that straight. She wasn't there, but he went there. He was mad at the in-laws for whatever reason. Maybe her family doesn't like Richard Sherman, because you would think that on the outside, he seemed like a decent guy, well-educated, successful on the field. But there may be a different side to him, especially when you see a video. And I'm going to get to the video. You see a video of him trying to break down her parents' door. It's like, what is going on with this guy? Now, people are talking about, well, it could be CTE. They love to bring that up when these guys do things. But I don't know if that's the case. I just think that he may have had some beef with her father. Maybe her father doesn't like him. It happens. There could be some dispute going back and forth. Why was he there? Why was he trying to get into that house? What was Richard Sherman going to do if he got into that house? That's what we need to try to figure out. What was you going to do, Richard? Were you going to go and fight her father? That would have made you look even worse. So I think it's a good thing that Richard Sherman didn't get into that house, because there's no telling what Richard Sherman would have done. And then your wife is telling a dispatcher that you want to off yourself. Something is going on with him. Listen, this guy is a free agent. He's not signed to any team. He went from being a Pro Bowl cornerback on one of the best defenses in the NFL, a team that was winning, to being a free agent at age 33. And as of now, he has not been signed by any team. It doesn't mean that a team wasn't going to sign Richard Sherman, but a team hasn't signed Richard Sherman as of yet. And you got to understand, these athletes dread life after football. They do. I'm not saying that that's what's going on, but it plays a part into it. These guys are depressed when they don't have football anymore. These guys go through something. And this may have been building. The sheriff's office notified Revin Police and the State Patrol that Sherman was possibly traveling to East Side City, according to Revin Police, and recorded calls between police agencies also released by the sheriff's office. In a joint news conference Wednesday afternoon, Redmond Police Chief Daryl Lowe and State Patrol Captain Ron Mead provide additional details of events that led up to Sherman's arrest. And these are the details of the arrest. But I'll put a link to this article. But I want to get to this video here. I'm not going to play the audio, but this is the video here of Richard Sherman trying to get into his in-laws' house. For whatever reason, he has some sort of issue. We may never know. Maybe we'll find out soon when he goes to court why he was trying to get into his in-laws' house. Richard Sherman, what was you going to do if you got into your in-laws' house? What was you going to do, Richard? Why were you trying to knock that door down? What did your father-in-law or mother-in-law say to you, Richard? What were you going to do if you got in there? Let's get into this TMZ article. Richard Sherman repeatedly and violently threw his body into his father-in-law's door while making menacing comments towards the man. And the alarming scene was all captured on video. The footage appears to show the 33-year-old NFL star walking up to Raymond Moss's porch in Redmond, Washington on Wednesday morning before becoming absolute unglued. You can see in the clip, first posted by Kima, as I said, when Sherman could not get into Moss's home, he shoved the door with his hands and then crashed into it with every fiber of his 6'3", 194-pound frame. He's a strong guy. I mean, 6'3", that's, you know, he's always been a strong defensive back, man. So, you know, let's see. When that didn't work, Sherman stood in front of the door and appeared to challenge Moss to come outside and confront him. "Come through, B," Sherman said, before repeating "come through" over and over and over again. Moss appeared to try to talk to Sherman from behind the locked door, but Richard responded, "I don't give a bleep about what you're saying. Open the door." "That bleep cute from behind the door," Sherman continued. "Come through. That bleep real cute." It looks like Sherman then attempted once more to get into the home, and before the door still wouldn't open, he shoved it violently several more times before walking away. As we previously reported, cops ended up arresting Sherman and booking him on a domestic dispute burglary charge. This is all self-inflicted. Sherman did this to himself. Y'all can try to blame CTE all you want to. This was a Richard Sherman decision. This guy clearly was having a bad day, and it could have been worse if he would have got into his in-laws' home. It could have been worse. So I think it's a good thing he did not get into that home, because there's no telling what more damage Richard Sherman could have done to himself and to the people that were there. He went on to spend all day Wednesday and most of the day Thursday behind bars before a judge released him without bail late Thursday afternoon. Sherman due back in court on Friday, where he could be hit with multiple criminal charges stemming from the incident, including DUI and resisting arrest. Yeah, he resisted arrest too. This guy thought he was going to fight the police and they were just going to take it. No, they were not. They were not just going to take it. You know, they were not going to just let him. And it's another thing too. All you people that talk about defunding the police, what did Richard Sherman's wife do when she thought that he might do something crazy? She called the police. The police, and listen, this not a pro police thing. It's pro common sense. Common sense is this. If you're going to call the police when you feel like there's an ounce of danger, then you should never talk about defunding anything. It's clear that Richard Sherman's wife felt he was going to do something to himself or somebody else, because maybe that's who Richard Sherman really is behind closed doors. Maybe there's a side of Richard Sherman we've never seen, and that side of him was exposed. But again, what's going on between him and his wife and her family? Hopefully he can fix it. I don't know what's going on there, but obviously something is wrong. This guy is 33 years old. He's currently not in the league. He's a free agent. This doesn't help his chances of getting a job. I mean, it doesn't mean he's going to go a full season without being in the NFL. I'm pretty sure if there's an injury in training camp, they want to add a veteran, team wants to add a veteran, he could get a call. But to me, it just seemed like a guy that has no direction right now. Richard Sherman does not have any direction right now. And that's a sad thing, because the guy is very intelligent. The guy has been a great player in the NFL for years, but he doesn't have a job, and he's 33 years old, man. He still has a whole life ahead of him. And for whatever reason, whatever the beef he has with his in-laws and whatever's going on in his mind has got him to that point. I'm not going to say that CTE may not play a role in it. Probably does, but are we really going to blame that? Or are we really going to look at the fact that maybe Richard Sherman has a drinking problem that no one knew about? Or they knew, they just didn't say anything?